Hello and welcome to Left, Right and Centre. Our big focus this evening is on the enormous floods and natural devastation in Sikkim after a GLOF or a Glacial Lake Outburst Flood in the upper reaches of the Himalayan state. The extent of devastation still unravelling. We'll also focus on the troubles for the Aam Aadmi Party MP as its Rajya Sabha MP Sanjay Singh is sent to 5 days under Enforcement Directorate custody. But first, 14 people have been killed and 102 others, including 22 soldiers, are still missing after a GLOF or a Glacial Lake Outburst Flood at the South Lhonak Lake from about 17,000 feet above sea level. Waters rushed down the Teesta river to break through Sikkim's biggest hydel power project dam, Chungthang, and wiping out everything, including the dam on its way further down to the plains. According to figures released by the state government, 26 people have been injured and over 2,000 evacuated so far. 14 bridges have been washed away. A population of over 22,000 people have been affected. The arterial National Highway number 10, which connects Sikkim's capital Gangtok to the rest of India, is cut off as parts of the highway were washed away. Over 3,000 tourists are feared stuck in several parts of Sikkim. The army and the NDRF's rescue operations are on a war footing, and of course the entire extent of the devastation still unraveling. So let's take you through exactly how it unfolded. It's a GLOF, as I mentioned, or a Glacial Lake Outburst Flood that swept through the Teesta river. The South Lhonak Lake, which is a glacial lake in the upper reaches of Sikkim, burst. That's the starting point of the river Teesta, Sikkim's biggest river. In fact, satellite images show how the lake shrunk after the outburst swiftly. This lake is about 17,000 feet above sea level. This is important because when it's a cloudburst or rain-related floods, the suddenness and magnitude is not as severe as in the case of a GLOF. All this water flowed down from 17,000 feet, wiping everything on its way to Sikkim's biggest hydropower dam, the Chungthang Dam, which is at about 5,000 feet above sea level. So for 12,000 feet, the water was flowing down in full force. This is the Teesta hydropower project. The water with boulders, soil, and whatever else it picked up on the way just flowed into the dam, which couldn't withstand the ferocity with which the water was coming down. The dam burst and was destroyed by the sheer force. Chungthang was also the worst hit in Sikkim floods of 2011. This led to massive floods downstream areas. As per the Central Water Commission, the Teesta was flowing well below the danger mark, and in a matter of around 6 hours, it started flowing well above the danger mark. It started receding now, we hear. Severe damage at Mangan, Dikchu, Singtam and Rangpo. Bardang, one of the towns in the banks of the river, was where 23 army personnel went missing. Search and rescue operations are on. As I mentioned, the river flows down, remember, to West Bengal and goes into Bangladesh through the Chicken's Neck. So the impact could be felt across several areas downstream. And as I mentioned, it's still unraveling. For the latest on the ground situation, joining me now is Mr. Atul Karwal, Director General of the National Disaster Response Force. First, what is the latest you can give us as far as the situation is concerned? An update both in terms of the damage and rescue operations, especially about those who have gone missing.
As far as destruction and damage are concerned, you already are aware that some bridges have been washed off. The road has been washed off in certain patches towards Chungthang. And in the missing persons, the army has recovered some of its personnel's mortal remains. We have recovered some dead bodies, but the total figure would be best taken from the state authorities. As far as the hardship is concerned, about 3,000 tourists are stranded beyond Chungthang and in parts of Sikkim, in Lachan and Lachung valleys. The rescue operation in Chungthang would probably get launched in the morning tomorrow because of inclement weather. Our teams could not be airlifted. We are hopeful that first thing in the morning, the teams from Siliguri will get airlifted to Chungthang and we can start the rescue operations there.
So since this was not heavy rainfall, but it was a glacial lake outburst flood, have the waters in the river receded now?
Yes, the waters have receded quite a bit. So the river level has come down. At a point in time when the surge was there, river had risen by 15-20 feet, which created this havoc, including sweeping away of vehicles and people. But now the waters are receding and the situation is much better.
So that would possibly make it easier for rescue operations at the moment. However, enormous task ahead in front of you. Can you tell us about the missing men, especially the army personnel? I know you would like to allow the state government to be the single point of releasing information on this, but still, whatever you could share with us, sir, at the moment.
So the army was missing 23 of its personnel, out of which they have rescued one. They have recovered mortal remains of 7 and 15 are still untraced.
Sir, in terms of, every operation of this nature has its own challenges. In terms of the key challenges your men are facing on the ground, what's the feedback you're getting from the ground, sir?
The first thing is the lack of communication. Chumthang is cut off. It has got no electricity. Road linkage is cut off. And their mobile phone coverage is gone because many towers got washed away. Though we found a ham operator who is assuring that the tourists are fine, though they must be undergoing some hardship, but no loss of life there. Hopefully it will remain like that. So the first challenge is to actually reach those places which are still inaccessible. And airlifting is the only option, and weather is something that is preventing us from reaching there as soon as possible. The second would be establishing communication so that the people can, right now also people are being facilitated by the army to contact their loved ones on satellite phones to convey their well-being. So communication. Third would be restoring the road connectivity, because without that, the people who have taken their cars and motorcycles as tourists in those areas would not be able to come back on those. But I think eventually we will have to think of evacuating them by airlifting them. I think the first sortie is being planned in the morning so that the older, the more infirm ladies and kids can be taken out first, brought back towards Gangtok, and then we can see how soon the road connectivity can be restored.
Sir, obviously you have an enormous operation up ahead before you, and as I mentioned at the start, things still unraveling. Thank you very much for taking time out and sharing those details with us now to understand why this is perhaps another disaster which was waiting to happen and one which we need to learn lessons from. Joining us this evening, Karma Paljor, Editor-in-Chief of East Mojo, who is originally from Sikkim. He is joining us though from Guwahati right now. Himanshu Thakkar, Coordinator of the South Asia Network on Dams, Rivers and People. We will also be joined by my colleague Saurabh Gupta live from the ground. Bikash Basnet, Press Secretary to the Chief Minister of Sikkim, also joins us. Bikash, first to you. We heard the NDRF chief give us some updates in terms of situation. Could you outline for us which are the worst areas that are affected? What's happening? What is the latest that you're receiving in terms of information?
Basically, I just came from the this affected area. I just came from the northern part of the Sikkim. So, in northern part of Sikkim, this Lachung, Lachen, and Chungthang is totally cut off from the mainstream of the Sikkim. So, all the roads, major roads, are cracked down in the northern part of Sikkim, and even NS10, NS10 is also totally damaged. There are several damaged in many parts, and even landslide is occurring because of this aftermath. Because because of this high flow of the Teesta river, there were several vibration in many areas. Because of that, there are many landslide is also occurring in the various places of Sikkim. And this downward area, Singtam, Ramphu, and Dikchu is also worstly affected. A relief camp is going on, and our people and our volunteers are working tirelessly with local authorities as well as NDRF. There are more than 5 platoons of NDRF who is tirelessly working in the rescue operation. We don't have exact figure, but till now, as per official sources, 18 lives have so far confirmed. We have recovered 18 dead bodies, and 3 dead bodies have been recovered in the Teesta barrack located in Jalpaiguri, that is in the West Bengal side. Now, identification of 3 dead bodies is underway, and there are 22 army personnel missing from Bardang camp. And out of 23, one has been safely evacuated from the from the actual spot where armies were missing. Then after, we have 98 civilians missing from various areas of Sikkim. 26 injured persons are being treated in different hospitals of Sikkim. And more than 3,000 tourists are being stranded in Lachen, Lachung areas. Hopefully, we are in coordination with army. We are expecting them to airlift till Mangan. From Mangan, we'll transit this tourist to Sikkim, and there is only one road which is working to connect Siliguri, that is via Lava, which takes almost 9 to 10 hours of journey. So we are in touch with West Bengal government authority also, so that we could restore NS10. But I think at the moment it won't be possible. So it takes quite a while time.
It's going to be a difficult time there. But in terms of challenges, we heard the NDRF chief share some list of challenges. Bikash, is it the road connectivities that's been affected? Is it communication connectivities? What's the biggest problem you're facing there in your state?
See, since yesterday only, there is the intense rainfall going on in all parts of the Sikkim. And I have already mentioned that all major bridges that was connecting to the southern part of Sikkim as well as northern part of Sikkim, all these bridges are being collapsed by Teesta river, because all these Sikkims are connected by the river only. One is Teesta river and another one is Rangit river. So because of this high flow of the Teesta river, all major bridges are being totally washed away. Also, roads, state highways have seen major cracks, and we are also facing landslide from today. And also NS10, that has been completely washed away by the Teesta river. We have, and in many parts we have seen several cracks. And another major problem is that we don't have a network over here, because all fiber lines which was underlying in the roadway, in the roadside, that has been also affected. And because of that, there is no internet, especially in the Lachen, Lachung and Chungthang areas.
Okay.
And also,
Bikash, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I believe Bedu Singh Pant, Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation and Commerce and Industries, Government of Sikkim, can also come across to us on the phone line. Mr. Pant, bataiye, what is the latest situation there? Please give us information that you are receiving at the moment.
Yes, sir. अभी मैं ग्राउंड जीरो से आया हूँ, आदर्श गांव से. अभी रिलीफ कैंप चल रहा है, रिलीफ एंड रेस्क्यू. हेलो.
हाँ जी, बताइए.
हाँ, रिलीफ एंड रेस्क्यू काम स्मूथली चल रहा है. डैमेज बहुत डैमेज हुआ है.
ओके.
आपको मालूम ही होगा, सिक्किम तो ऑलमोस्ट कट ऑफ.
ओके. सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या है अभी वहाँ रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन?
कम्युनिकेशन है. अभी कम्युनिकेशन है. एक तो रोड कम्युनिकेशन,
ओके,
और ये इंटरनेट कम्युनिकेशन भी है.
ऑलराइट.
टेलीफोन का नॉर्थ सिक्किम में तो इतना टूरिस्ट फंसे हुए हैं. लेकिन अच्छी बात है, दे आर ऑल सेफ.
ओके.
उनको हम बाई चॉपर से हम गैंगटॉक ले आने के इंतजाम कर रहे हैं.
ओके. ओके.
जितने भी टूरिस्ट है, दे आर ऑल सेफ. आने का रास्ता नहीं है. 2 दर्जन से ज्यादा पुल तो ढल गई है.
ओके. ओके. ओके.
तो हम सिक्किम गवर्नमेंट कोशिश कर रहा है. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का पूरा सहयोग मिल रहा है.
ओके.
पीएमओ ऑफिस से भी सहयोग है, डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री भी सहयोग है.
ओके.
हमें कोई इतना वो नहीं है, इतराज नहीं है. वी आर गेटिंग ऑल द हेल्प.
ओके. And in terms of taking care of those who are stranded, sir, जो stranded है उनका मदद के लिए क्या किया जा रहा है?
टूरिस्ट के लिए आप बोल रहे हैं?
टूरिस्ट, सिविलियंस, सिटीजन्स जो भी स्ट्रैंडेड है, ट्रैप्ड है, विदाउट फूड वाटर, उनके लिए क्या किया जा रहा है?
नहीं, वो टूरिस्ट के लिए तो आर्मी ने इतना अकोमोडेशन और फूड वगैरह सब वो बंदोबस्त कर रहा है, इंक्लूडिंग मेडिकल एड. उनके लिए कोई चिंता की विषय नहीं. जो पब्लिकली स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने वार फुटिंग में कर रहे हैं. जो बीमारी है, बीमारी की भी देखभाल हो रहा है. और खाना पीना का बंदोबस्त है. लेकिन अब 2-3 दिन बाद से थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होगा हमको, क्योंकि कम्युनिकेशन रोड रास्ता नहीं है. राशन के लिए हमको थोड़ा तकलीफ है, लेकिन वो गवर्नमेंट सीरियस है. हम काम कर रहे हैं उस लाइन में.
ओके सर, क्विक फाइनल क्वेश्चन, क्या वो टूरिस्ट से जो स्ट्रैंडेड है उनसे आप फोन पे बात कर पा रहे हैं? क्योंकि एनडीआरएफ चीफ हमें कह रहे थे कि हैम रेडियोस का यूज किया जा रहा है टू रीच आउट टू पीपल हु आर स्ट्रैंडेड.
यस यस, वो अभी नेटवर्क नहीं चल रहा है. वो आर्मी का सैटेलाइट टेलीफोन से उन लोगों ने आज अपना अपना घर वाले से, परिवार वाले से बात किया.
ओके.
दे आर ऑल हैप्पी.
ओके.
और कल मौसम अच्छा होने से हम बाई हेलीकॉप्टर उनको गैंगटॉक ले आ रहे हैं.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Obviously, a difficult task in front of you. Thank you for taking time out and sharing those details. We'll keep a close track of it. I believe my colleague Saurabh Gupta can also join us live right now before I go to Karma and Himanshu to understand the whole topography and the situation. Saurabh, give us the latest that you're hearing. Just to fill you in, we spoke with the NDRF chief who said communication, both in terms of being able to reach people who are stranded, in terms of roads, is the key challenge. We also have Bikash, who's the advisor to the press secretary to the Chief Minister of Sikkim. He's also sharing the same thing. What are you picking up from the lower areas? Give us a sense of where exactly you are at the moment.
Well, I'm on my way to Ranipul, but I can tell you, Veera, it's been a very difficult journey. We've been on the road for almost 6 to 7 hours. We've had to take a detour to reach, from Rangpo till Singtam. And now, of course, the road from Singtam to Gangtok is pretty clear. But beyond Rangpo and beyond, from Rangpo to Singtam, in Singtam, there's a bridge that's been washed away. So that is a challenge. And, I've been speaking to Bikash as well. And, we've tried to understand the nature of the challenge. I don't think Sikkim has seen a disaster like this where so many bridges are washed away, the roads completely washed away, which is why getting from one place to another is a challenge. Then you have the power outages in some places, which is making it further more difficult. I was at Rangpo in the evening, and I can tell you there is at least 15 to 20 feet of sludge inside people's homes. That entire place is buried in sludge and slurry, which the floodwaters of the Teesta have brought in. It's a very, very challenging time for the government of Sikkim as well, because they have to deal with tourists, they also have to deal with locals, they also have to deal with essential supplies. That is going to be a worry in the days to come, because the road connectivity is completely snapped. It's taken us, like I said, 7 hours to just get to make a journey of which usually would take 3 to 4 hours, and we're still not at our destination. So you can imagine the extent of the damage that the state has seen in this present crisis. And yes, with the Chungthang Dam being breached, that is also a major challenge, and that is of course something that again will come up in the discussion. But it's a very, very challenging time for the state of Sikkim. We've seen it with our own eyes. We've been to Rangpo, we've been to Singtam, we are on our way. We've tried to follow National Highway 10 as much as possible, had to take most of the time detours to make it to where we are, which is Ranipul near Gangtok, which is where we are headed to stay overnight. But it's been a very challenging day to just get from one place to another.
Right, Saurabh, it is, as you pointed out, extremely challenging. Karma and Himanshu, I just wanted to get a complete update from the ground situation. Saurabh, if you can, just please do stay with us. Karma, you have seen Sikkim for many years. You've grown up there. As Saurabh was pointing out, would this rank as one of the worst tragedies worst natural calamities that the state has seen?
Definitely, Veera. I would rank, because we've had our reporters on the ground and seeing the damage. This looks like one of the worst natural disasters that we've seen. We were together 2011 when the earthquake came. In fact, I was one of the first teams to get in, just like Saurav. And I entered Rangpo after many hours crossing through in complete darkness. There was no electricity in Rangpo. Now, compared to that, I've been speaking to locals, my friends, my family, not just in Gangtok, but across the state. And some of them are telling me that the state has gone back by about 30 years. I would believe so. And right now, as far as relief and rescue is concerned, and the spokesperson, the press advisor to the Chief Minister, Mr. Bikash, was telling us earlier also that rescue and relief is the first priority of the government. Yes, I agree. But after that, I think the state will face an uphill task when it comes to rehabilitation and connecting 8 very vital bridges that connect, Sikkim through and through. Not just they are vital because they are also vital for our armed forces, because the Tibet border is right above. So getting these bridges on, connecting people will be a big challenge. That's why I would say 1968, my parents tell me, was when they saw floods like this, when there was incessant rainfall for about 60 hours and about 256 people lost their life. There was a similar deluge. And at that time, there was only one Bailey Bridge connecting Sikkim to the rest of India. And that Bailey Bridge got washed away. Many people died. I would say that was a disaster of a certain proportion. Now, this has certainly taken the disasters that have hit the very fragile Himalayan state to another level.
Important point that you make there, and a fascinating comparison that you're giving in terms of the history of the place. But Himanshu Thakkar, given that this is a glacial lake outburst, was there a forewarning? Should there have been some kind of indications, or how does this play out? You know this very well. Just take us through what happens, and also when a dam bursts of that nature, it seems extremely scary proposition.
Absolutely. See, firstly, it was known that this South Lhonak Lake is expanding. Over the last 4 decades, it's been expanding and more. And it was known to be a possible source of Glacial Lake Outburst Flood. Once you know this, why was there no attempt to put in early warning system? Yesterday, after the disaster, NDMA came out with a press statement saying that now they are planning to put in early warning system. This sounds so eerily similar to what happened in Chamoli in February 2011, when after the NTPC hydropower was washed away, after that NTPC said, now we are thinking of putting in early warning system. If the early warning system were working, then a lot of this disaster proportion could have been reduced. Secondly, there was a Central Water Commission flood forecasting station upstream from Chungthang, 20 kilometers upstream at Lachen. That station, if they had forewarned, once the flood came that place, and given the forecasting for the downstream area, which is what they were supposed to do, that would have also helped. But that station did not have any reading after 10 p.m. on 3rd October. As far as the dam itself is concerned, once they got a warning from ITBP, the chairman says that we sent our team to the top of the dam to open the gate. Now, this kind of dam is not supposed to have mechanical gate opening. The gates are supposed to be opened electrically, which means the systems of opening the gate was not functioning. The dam safety was in complete jeopardy. The capacity of the spillway capacity of the dam was 7,000 cubic meters per second. Now, this is highly inadequate, and it was not designed to take glove actually. Now, why was this dam allowed to come up without inadequate capacity? Because spillway capacity is the most important safety factor for a dam. It allows, stops the dam from overtopping. Now, this is a rock-filled concrete dam. A rock-filled concrete dam is much more vulnerable to overtopping than a concrete dam. Like Teesta 5 project, also water overtop, but it did not get washed away. This got washed away, so there has been even more care. Similarly, there is a Central Water Commission's National Register of Large Dams, which is supposed to list all the big dams so that there is a dam safety mechanism put in place for all the dams. Now, believe it or not, this dam doesn't even figure in the National Register of Large Dams of Central Water Commission. So
there are many learnings to take from this.
Pardon?
There are many learnings to take from this in terms of the tragedy. Some things that we have learnt in the past. Bikash, was there any kind of forewarning? You're hearing what Himanshu is saying. Was the government prepared, or was it completely unprepared to this?
No, actually, it happened all of a sudden, but because of these 2 dams. But what we did is that we could save more lives in the Sikkim, because it could have been more disasters because of that dam. Warning was circulated so fastly by the administration to the lower belts, those people residing in the belts of the river. So because of this, information was disseminated in as early as possible so that people were evacuated from the river basin areas of the Teesta River.
Right.
And I don't know the technicality of the dams, but this might be a case of study in the future. But right now, what we are focusing is saving our lives, and we are completely focused on rescue and rescue operation of the people. And it is totally headed by government of Sikkim and under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Sri P.S. Goli. He is continuously monitoring the situation. He is in touch with each and every employee working for the rescue operation, and we are looking forward for the restoration. We are looking forward for the normalcy of the life at this very sad time of the Sikkim. I would appeal all our countrymen to come in support of Sikkim and kindly extend your possible help to Sikkim and Sikkimese people.
Right, important plea there. Yes, we will look at what went wrong in the coming days. But for the moment, as you point out, focus on the rescue operation. Saurabh, as Bikash was pointing out, there are still landslides, there are still tremors that are being felt in that area. What do what are you seeing around you before we let you go on your journey up?
One of the things that we heard was that, people actually moved out of their houses in the nick of time, and that was because of the very, this warning system of people coming actually and banging on people's doors and saying, hey, water level is rising, you need to leave. And that actually we felt, at least from what we heard on the ground, has saved a considerable number of lives, because people did leave their homes. They may not have been able to save their homes, but they did leave their homes in time. Actually, a lot of people told us they were able to leave their homes in time, just in the nick of time, and save their lives. And that, of course, is something that perhaps is also a learning, that there were some kind of community warning or whatever it was, that people actually left their homes right in the nick of time before their before they could be buried under that deluge of sludge and slurry that the water was bringing down. Right. And that is something that was something that we picked up while speaking to people in these areas.
Right. Important that you point that out. Take care of yourself as you report for us of the ground situation there in Sikkim. But Karma, what Saurabh was pointing out, you are someone who's lived in Sikkim, from Sikkim. How does the local communities respond to this? Is there some learning that the rest of us, tourists who go out, others, would have to take from the local people there who understand nature much better than most of us here?
See, we've always been nature worshippers. The Lepchas, the Bhutias, we worship nature. And especially the young people of Janggu have always been against dams. That's well known. That's another story, and it'll take, a long time to debate. Now, as far as early warning systems are concerned, Veera, let me point out, like Himanshu Thakkar was saying, early warning systems have failed completely. Now, the warnings that Vikas is talking about is by seeing the water levels and people talking to each other. Thank God, still the mobile phones are working, so people could call each other and tell them the water levels are rising. The scientific warning systems have failed. There is no scientific warning system. Let me tell you that one. Now, as far as the monitoring of the lake was concerned, the Lhonak Lake was concerned, from 2013, experts have been warning, and there are still warnings put out. There are about 1,000 plus glacial lakes across the Himalayan region, and because of global warming, they have only increased. So that puts the entire region at a very vulnerable position. So this is one, we could see several. And I'm not just talking about Sikkim, I'm talking about Nepal, I'm talking about Uttarakhand, I'm talking about Bhutan. The entire region is in threat, and we need to understand that. And investment has to be made to understand these systems, where they are, how to put. Now, government of Sikkim knew that there was this threat. 2017-18, there was a team sent. I have few friends who'd gone on that team. But the area is very hostile. You have to walk at 17,000 feet for several hours before you reach that point. From there on, how do you carry heavy equipment? There are no generators. There are no water pumps because there is no electricity. How do you operate them at 17,000 feet? I think at that time, the Ladakhi scientist Sonam Mongchuk had suggested a siphon system. So the government of Sikkim at that point sent pipes, and they were trying to drain that lake. Impossible, because whatever little you drain out, the glacier is going to feed more. So that led this lake to grow to an alarming size, as the ISRO satellite images suggests. And when you have a breach of this nature, there is nothing stopping. And I was telling you, Veera, yesterday also, 17,000 feet coming down to about 5,000, 6,000 feet and hitting that dam at Chungtang, which is an earth-filled dam, huge rocks, debris, you have trees, everything hitting that dam with that force. And at that point, the dam apparently was holding, in layman's terms, water which could fill 20,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools, and that the Lhonak Lake water all combined together went down with such ferocity that, as Vikas was saying, only human intelligence and God saved. Otherwise, the casualties would have been huge. Now, you asked a question about the tourists stranded in Sikkim. It is in our nature, it is in the Sikkimese nature to take care of our guests. So I would tell everybody, all the people who are outside, don't worry. If they are safe, they are in different locations, we guarantee that the Sikkimese hospitality is so good that we will not eat, but we will feed them. So there, we can rest assured, Veera, that they will be taken care.
Well, really moving words there from you, Karma. As someone from Sikkim, my final question to you, Mr. Himanshu, we're running completely short of time here. In terms of what happens next, what's possibly the one big learning that one needs to take? And given that we have so many satellites and our advancement in space is so high, what lessons can we take about remote sensing, knowing about glacial lakes in the Himalayas?
Absolutely. Immediately after the disaster on fourth night, early morning at 6 o'clock, NRSC comes up with satellite maps saying how the lake has shrunk. The question is, why couldn't we get those satellite maps before the disaster to understand what's happening there? Why can't we have satellite mapping? There can be Doppler radar monitoring. There can be this. Why the Central Water Commission site wasn't functioning? If the warning had come to the dam, and if the dam was opened up and all the spillway gates were open, the possibility that dam could have been saved because it wouldn't have overtopped. But we have lost an investment of 20 to 25,000 crores. That's the cost of putting a 1200 megawatt hydropower project today. Now, imagine the kind of loss we have. In addition, all the roads and everything. So if that dam would not have gone, maybe the downstream impact would have been lower. So you can imagine cascading effect of being careless and cascading effect of being more careful. So, both ways we need to learn lesson. Unfortunately, we are very bad at learning lessons.
Important point.
Chamoli, same thing happened. After that, we said we will put early warning system. Now here again, we are saying early warning system. There are 56 risky lakes in Himalayas.
Right.
Where are we going to put to all those places?
Important
because
question
all of
that
them
you
can
raised.
generate.
Important question that you raised there. These are questions that need to be addressed and understood if we want to avert natural disasters and tragedies of this nature. But for the moment, as I mentioned, the focus is on the ground situation, rescue operations. We'll keep close watch of that. We'll take a very short break here on Left, Right and Centre. When we come back, the big political story over the ED arrest of Sanjay Singh, Aam Aadmi Party's Rajya Sabha MP. Welcome back. The Enforcement Directorate was granted 5 days custody of Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha MP and one of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's close confidants, Sanjay Singh. Dinesh Arora, an accused already named in the case, turned approver and has allegedly named Sanjay Singh, stating that he was the one who connected Arora with Manish Sisodia, the other arrested AAP leader who was the then Excise Minister of Delhi. The ED alleges that Sanjay Singh's case and Dinesh Arora's cases are linked and that 1 crore rupees were delivered to Sanjay Singh's residence by Dinesh Arora's employees. The arrest has sparked off a sharp reaction from the Aam Aadmi Party. Arvind Gunasekaran has the latest.
Brought into court after his arrest yesterday, AAP leader Sanjay Singh attacked the BJP as he went in. Singh was arrested after day-long searches at his home. The day after, businessman and liquor scam accused Dinesh Arora turned approver. Today in court, the Enforcement Directorate said that an Arora employee, Sarvesh, gave 2 crore rupees to Sanjay Singh and that money was delivered to Sanjay Singh's house. The money was delivered to Sanjay Singh on 2 different days, and they further added that they have corroborated the mobile location of Sarvesh and seized digital evidence from Sanjay Singh's premises. They added that there is a need to confront Sanjay Singh with digital evidence and that there is a link to proceeds of the crime. In the middle of proceedings, Sanjay Singh stood up in court and said that everything is a lie and that he's saying that with folded hands. The Enforcement Directorate objected to his statement in court, saying that it was not a political forum. Earlier in the day, Aam Aadmi Party supporters protested against Sanjay Singh's arrest outside BJP offices in Delhi, Mumbai and Chandigarh. Speaking on the arrest, BJP chief JP Nadda said that the Aam Aadmi Party was steeped in corruption.
आम आदमी पार्टी की बात करूं तो कल ही दूसरा विकेट भी गिर गया। वहां संजय सिंह शराब घोटाले में अंदर हो गया। ये सब भ्रष्टाचार में ऊपर से नीचे आकंठ डूबे हुए लोग हैं।
The court has given the Enforcement Directorate custody of Sanjay Singh for 5 days. With Arvind Gunasekar in New Delhi, NDTV Bureau Report.
As we know, these arrests are in the much publicized Delhi liquor policy case, which was basically allegations of kickbacks to the Aam Aadmi Party leaders for the Delhi liquor policy of 2021, which was subsequently withdrawn. After a report from a bureaucrat alleged corruption, the Lieutenant Governor asked for a CBI probe. The Enforcement Directorate is looking into money laundering allegations against the AAP leaders and others. AAP has dismissed the charges as political vendetta. So, who has been arrested so far in that case? Vijay Nair, Samir Mahendru, liquor retailer, Buchi Babu, ex-chartered accountant of BRS leader K. Kavita, Raghava, YSR MP son, Manish Sisodia, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister, Sanjay Singh, the latest arrest of the Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha MP. Those are the people who were arrested. But the list may not end there. There are other AAP leaders under the scanner, including the top man. Arvind Kejriwal himself was questioned in April. Jasmine Shah, top AAP leader, was also questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. But this goes beyond the AAP itself. The others under the scanner from K. Kavita of the Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti, BRS chief and Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's daughter, she was also arrested, however strongly denied her involvement in this case. The ED claims there was something known as the South Group, as the ED calls it, and arrested Buchi Babu, who was Kavita's chartered accountant, as I mentioned earlier. Agency sources claim that Buchi Babu was the representative of the South Group in the Delhi liquor scam. They've made allegations against Kavita, MS Reddy of the YSRCP and Sharath Reddy of Aurobindo Pharma in the case. They claim that the South Group gave 100 crores in advance for license in the Delhi liquor policy. All of them have firmly denied any involvement. The main catch for the agencies was this man, Dinesh Arora, industrialist turned approver in the liquor scam. Arora is to testify as a government witness on the 14th of November. Sanjay Singh was arrested a day after Arora turned government witness. Dinesh Arora had told the court he would reveal it all. The Enforcement Directorate claims that Sanjay Singh was the link between Dinesh Arora and Manish Sisodia, and that Arora once met Kejriwal at Sanjay Singh's residence. The ED also claims that Arora arranged election funds for the Aam Aadmi Party at Sanjay Singh's behest, and that Dinesh Arora delivered 2 crores to Sanjay Singh's residence. They also claim that Dinesh Arora took accused businessman Amit Arora to Sanjay Singh's home, and Singh told Amit Arora to accommodate his aides in the liquor business. In return, Sanjay Singh would take Amit Arora to Sisodia, and Sisodia, which is Manish Sisodia, assured both Dinesh and Amit Arora excise policy would be tweaked. These are all, of course, allegations of the Enforcement Directorate, which will have to be substantiated and proven in a court of law. Dinesh Arora is a prominent figure in Delhi's restaurant industry. So that sort of sets up the whole case of the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, Sanjay Singh had earlier written to the then Finance Secretary denying any of these charges. Sanjay Singh had claimed that his name was being used to tarnish Dinesh Arora's name, and the allegations are being used to tarnish his image. Joining us now in terms of what's next for the Aam Aadmi Party, where the case can go, is Sanjay Singh, senior journalist, Huda Zariwala, political analyst and Aam Aadmi Party supporter. Also Ashutosh Srivastav, advocate at the Supreme Court. Before I get to the political analyst and the journalist on the panel, Ashutosh, first tell us what are the potential consequences of this case legally? A, because there has been some conversation, obviously, some observation by the court, which was turned into a conversation across the board about the possibility of AAP itself being named in the case. Is it even possible? What would be the consequences of that?
See, as we know that due investigation has been taken place by the ED, and accordingly certain arrests were made. And here also, when this Arora turned approver, based on the statement given by him and maybe the other witnesses to this case, the ED came to a conclusion that this particular accused may also be arrested for the purpose of further investigation. And as we know that previously also the charge sheet was submitted, but additional, that is a supplementary charge sheet is being filed. So this is how any investigation takes place. Now, so far as arrest is concerned, obviously after the arrest, a person is required to be produced before the concerned trial court within 24 hours. And then that concerned trial court will see whether the custodial interrogation of that person is required or not, or if it is required for how many days. And accordingly, the arguments took place between the ED and the defense. And accordingly, the trial court was convinced to grant 5 days custodial remand for further investigation and to find out if there is any substance or any such kind of money which can be recovered or anything related to the case can be recovered. So it is, I can say, it is the investigation is still in progress so far as the arrest of this particular accused is concerned. Now, after that, after 5 days are elapsed, then again he will be produced before the same trial court, where the court will further see if there is any further requirement of custodial interrogation, and if these 5 days have been fruitful for the investigating agency, that is ED in this case, to come to any conclusion or to have any recoveries or to link him to any such kind of crime which is alleged to have happened, or maybe has been his involvement into the case. So this is how any investigation takes place.
Right, you're right. That's how ED investigations takes place. So Huda Zariwala, before I go to Sanjay Singh, Huda Zariwala, where does this leave the AAP, in terms of both functioning, in terms of its politics? Seems to be in a very, very difficult spot right now.
Well, not really, because the entire country is witnessing the arrest of Sanjay Singh ji, and clearly how the central agencies are being used at the whims and fancies of the ruling BJP. I mean, the case investigation keeps going on. It will, it will not end according to the ED. It's been going on for months. Around 1,000 raids have been done. Around 500 officers of the ED and CBI combined have conducted raids at several places, both for the, Manish Sisodiya ji, AAP leaders, and obviously Sanjay Singh ji as well. I mean, and yet they haven't found a single shred of evidence, which only goes on to show that, the ED is clearly not doing its job right. Let us also not forget that this is the same ED who had initially mentioned the name of Sanjay Singh ji and then had to apologize for the same. And honestly, I mean, it is a current ruling of the Supreme Court as well that if the AAP in fact did benefit from the Delhi's, now scraped liquor policy, why it is not an accused in the money laundering case relating to the alleged irregularities by both the agencies. And also, let us not forget, Dinesh Arora, who was a star witness, was made an accused later by both the agencies, meaning the ED and the CBI, and now he turned approver to the case. There are so many irregularities in the case to begin with. I mean, even against Manish Sisodiya ji, not a single shred of evidence is found. There is no money trail that has been found. And also for Sanjay Singh ji, nothing has so far been yet proven. Nothing is found against him. He was questioned for so many hours. His home was searched entirely. Nothing has been found as yet. So clearly the ED is being used at by unrightfully by the BJP, by the Modi government, and even this time around, nothing will be proven against Sanjay Singh ji.
That's a matter of time. Sanjay Singh, senior journalist, also with us. Sanjay, the road ahead for the AAP seems to be a difficult one right now.
Yes, Veera, a very difficult road, more so because whatever Arvind Kejriwal promised when he came into politics, and thereafter, subsequently, there is a sea difference between what he promised and what he has delivered, and what he was seen to be and what he is. Depends on a whole lot of things. The issue of political vendetta, which is generally said. If you remember when Jiten Singh Tomar, a minister in our government, was first kind of accused of fake degree. Then again, there was this charge of vendetta. I remember BJP central office being garroted by leaders and workers. And ultimately, what happened? It was proved that Jiten Singh Tomar had a fake degree, and he claimed to be fake degree, and subsequently he was removed from Delhi cabinet. Now, on the question on the issue, this is kind of the allegations. The charges of legal scam has reached Arvind Kejriwal doorsteps. Arvind Kejriwal, as we know, as chief minister, was not signing on any of the papers. He was not minister in charge of any department. And therefore, if you see Manish Sisodia, closest kind of political aide, you call it colleague, his closest colleague, most trusted lieutenant, is in jail for last 7-8 months. And court, in fact, said that there was prima facie involvement of Manish Sisodia. He was active participant, and therefore the bail was not granted. At this moment, that particular case is before Supreme Court, so I would not make any further comments on that. And similar arguments were put forward. Remember, finding a cache, if there was nothing against Manish Sisodia, or in that case, Satyendra Garg, Satyendra Jain, sorry. Now, in the case of Sanjay Singh, this is an unfolding investigation. At this moment, we know that somebody who was accused has turned a prover, and therefore, on basis of allegations or claims made by him, and there, besides other investigations that had gone into, he has been arrested. See, ED has taken its time to prepare a case. And therefore, I think before jumping to conclusion that there is no proof, there has been no proof. If there was no proof, Sisodia would not have been there for so long, and court would not have made such observations. As for making Supreme Court observation about making Aam Aadmi Party, that is a very contentious issue. I have not heard naming an institution as an accused, particularly a political party as such. That, of course, will be deliberated in Supreme Court. That's a different area altogether.
Okay.
But at this moment, Arvind Kejriwal, Aam Aadmi Party is in a tight spot. India Alliance leaders have also not come out in the manner in which they used to come out in recent past, not in
Okay. No, my quick question is in terms of functioning of the party itself. We're running short of time. In terms of functioning of the party itself, first Sanjay, then Huda, while the optics, being victimized, all those things play in the larger optics of it. In terms of the very functioning of the party, would this cause a stress for the party heading into the 2024 polls?
Sure, it does. Arvind Kejriwal politics, if you see from the beginning, was to play a martyr, a victim, at the same time claim himself a hero. And therefore, when this continues for far too long, there is a time when people get concerned about that particular thing. He claims that he was the fighter, he was the main fighter amongst opposition coalition against corruption, against Modi, and therefore he is also putting India Alliance at stress vis-a-vis his own position.
Okay, Huda?
Well, honestly, we've seen how, more than 1,000 raids have been conducted. Around more than 500 officers were behind, several leaders. A lot of people have been arrested, including senior AAP leaders, and yet not a single penny has been recovered. And yet, on the other side, these are the very same leaders, especially Sanjay Singh ji, who keep calling against the corruption of the Modi government, who keep pointing out different scams conducted time and again. And yet there is not a single ED or CBI questioning or taking into cognizance the matter at all. So let us not forget that these central agencies that were expected to function independently are clearly doing otherwise. The country is watching various senior leaders from Congress parties and the other parties have come out openly in favor of Sanjay Singh ji, in particular Aam Aadmi Party in general. So clearly, the Janta knows they will be voting for the India alliances. This is something that even the BJP is aware of, which is why they're taking these steps against the India alliance.
Okay, there are political realities and then there are courtroom realities and then there are legal realities. We'll have to wait for all this to unfold. We'll keep a close watch on this developing confrontation. Thank you, all three of you, for joining us and giving us those insights. That's all we have time for on Left, Right and Centre. The news continues here on NDTV.